welcome to this week's episode of Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge Season 5 Total Madness Episode 8. Now, we have a lot to go over, so I promise the show is gonna start right now. Now this week we got a daily challenge called Decontamination, where everyone had to don up their scrubs, run into a room filled with foam, get to the other side where there was this giant window where they were gonna be looking at these machines flashing a sequential light order. Once they memorized the lights, they had to run back out and then stack these colored plates in the right order. The quickest man and woman to do this wins themselves into the tribunal and brings in a third banana to the tribunal. And I just wanted to say that when we were getting the super trailers and all the trailers before this season, this is the daily challenge that I had the biggest question and the most questions about. Like, I had no idea what was going to be the play here. They were showing like mirrored shots of it. Getting it this episode, I think this one was a nice flip on what we've been getting recently from the challenge. Like, past couple of episodes, we've gotten these high production, big action sequences of daily challenges, and this one was a bit more lighthearted, a bit more fun. Nobody could get DQ'd from this daily challenge. Nobody was going to get seriously injured from this daily challenge. And when looking at people's strategies, we got some great strategies and we got some not so great strategies. The first one I want to talk about is Wes. He absolutely crushed this daily challenge. He was the quickest man. He won himself into the tribunal. He did it all by himself. Nobody was working with him. He ran in and out of that room as many times as he needed to. He was able to lock it in. The same thing with bananas, except he did a workaround where he just saw the reflections around the room, so he didn't have to go strictly through the room every single time. He was able to get the second quickest speed, and even though he just barely missed being in the tribunal, Wes and Maddie picked him to be the third banana in the tribunal this week. Then when looking at strategies that did not work out so well, we have the Holy Trinity, we have Stephen Bear, we have Nelson, just to name a few. I don't understand Nelson's strategy at all by staying in the room for that long and then running out and then trying to copy off of people's stacks. Like, if you're doing that strategy, you're hoping that those people are right, and not everybody was right. I mean, Jenny and Jenna had so many checks on their boards and colors and they were not right. So for that to be your strategy, it was flawed from the beginning. And then how many heads are in the Holy Trinity and were working with them? Nani and Kayla, Anissa was working with them. Bear was also eyeing what they were doing. It just was a mess to see some of these strategies and how they just fell flat. Now, when looking at this daily challenge, it may not fit the motif of the season as some of the other daily challenges that we've had or will have, but I felt that with the lightheartedness and after coming off of such hard criticism from the audience, from me, from the past couple of episodes with the daily challenges, with the eliminations, with too much drama happening, with the cliffhangers, that this was just a fun, light note to have for this week of the challenge. Now this week there was a good bit of drama, whether you're talking about people pulling out their receipts with Nelson and Kyle getting into a bar fight, Big T slicing open her toe. There was a ton to critique, but it was a good balance between the daily challenge and the elimination that happened in this episode. Now first talking about Nelson, this was a tough episode for Nelson as everyone was calling out his strategy. This episode in particular shows how much of a politicking and socializing game he lacks in the challenge. This is his 6th challenge season and he's making deals with everybody. What kind of show does he think this is? Big Brother? This is not how the challenge is made. And in 6 seasons, he only has locked up one solid friend / alliance member, and that is Corey. He is working with Fessy this season, but Fessy's a rookie. So for Nelson to be on his 6th challenge season and only really have Corey to help him out is not a good sign and just shows how much of a politicking game he has lacked throughout his challenge tenure so far. And then Big T slicing open her toe. I'm worried about the future and her future in the challenge because with the stitches, she could be looked at as a huge target or a huge layup as, oh, she is injured. We could throw her in at the next girls' day and I can get my easy red skull. Or if we saw in the previews to next week's daily challenge, there's gonna be swimming. And if she can't get her stitches wet at all, that's not a good sign for Big T as maybe she's going to have to sit out, or she's going to be thrown right into the elimination, and that can play well into some other of the girls' hands, which I would hate to see that happen. Big T is enjoyable to watch on the screen when she actually gets screen time, and to make a silly drunken mistake like she did by jumping off of that bed and slicing open her toe on the chair could cost her $1 million is just really disheartening to hear. Now this week we had not only one elimination, which we were just all dying for in the last previous couple of episodes, but we got two. We got a double elimination. And so with this double elimination, we got to see a pole wrestle, a challenge classic, and we had to see Fessy going up against Jordan and Nelson going up against Bear. Now, Jordan is already at a major disadvantage with this elimination type with the pole wrestle, as he only really has one full hand, and so he had to figure out a strategy to use to try to be able to pull this away from Fessy, who is a behemoth of a man. And it was difficult to watch Jordan be in this elimination after a while, especially when he took that huge hit from Fessy, and then when he was trying to like reset and he couldn't lift up his arm. It was really difficult to watch at a certain point, and I feel as though we finally found Jordan's kryptonite, which is the pole wrestle, and against somebody who is way bigger than him in size and stature. Now, the next elimination we had was Nelson versus Bear, and Nelson has one of the best elimination records out there to date. He has 9 challenge wins now with this win against Bear. He came in with the only draw in challenge history and 8 challenge wins, which is pretty much up there in challenge wins of all time. Nelson had the upper hand by seeing so many different challenge eliminations, but Bear is looking swole as he comes into this game. However, it just did not seem like Bear's head was in it. Like, he really gave his all in that first round, but once he lost that first round, it just looked like he was tuckered out. He did not have the cardio that he really needed or the grip strength, and Nelson was able to rip it out of his hands. Now, this is normally the part of the episode in Tiny Table Talk where I either give my numbskulls for the week, or I give the people that are rising up in the ranks or did something well this episode of the challenge, but I want to do something different. Now, the past couple of episodes, like I said earlier in the show, has gotten a lot of criticism from fans, from me in particular, and I feel as though we got a little bit negative towards the cliffhangers, towards too much drama. Not saying that it wasn't warranted, because there was just way too much drama and not a lot happening with the daily challenges or eliminations, but this is the episode we've been wanting, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to MTV for not cutting this off at any point. I thought that we were going to get another in the middle, that we would just get to the nominations and maybe a lot of drama and cut it off. Or if we did get to an elimination, that because it was a double elimination, we were going to get the second elimination at the beginning of next episode. However, that wasn't the case at all. MTV gave us everything we've wanted. It came back with the format, and it came back in full force. I mean, 10 minutes into this episode, we got the daily challenge, and not too long after that, we got the nominations, and then we got some good down-home drama with everybody in the bar scene, with Big T slicing open her foot, no matter how disgusting it is and how much blood there was. Ugh. And then we get to the tribunal meeting, and then we get both eliminations. It was so beautiful. It was awesome. This is probably the best episode of this season, and it's possibly because it's coming off of 2 episodes that were some of the worst challenge episodes we've had in a long while. So I just want to take a moment to just be positive and say that I hope this is the case for the rest of the season, and I just want to say thank you for MTV for giving us this full-on episode and double elimination like we've been wanting. Thank you so much. And now it's time to read some comments from my Thursday review video of The Challenge Season 5, Episode 8. And we're going to start off with David J. Cork, who says, I thought the eliminations were going to be split over 2 episodes too. I'm glad they showed the whole thing. I wonder if there will be a double elimination for the girls next week. It's still a lot of people that don't have a red skull. I personally don't think there will be a double elimination for the women, just because the guys were so far behind because they kept on throwing in Jay, to where they threw him in 3 guys days in a row, and then ultimately there was only one person coming into this week with only 1 red skull. I feel that if there was going to be a double elimination on the Women's Day, that they would have said it in the previews like they did last week. So I just don't think they're gonna do that. Roy Vasquez says, surprised you didn't mention Josh calling out Swaggy and Bailey for working with Wes, saying he's going to target them now. Now, I did forget to mention in my Thursday video about Swaggy telling Josh about how Wes was saying all this stuff about Bear and Jordan were gonna go in regardless if it was a physical elimination, and that everybody knew, but really nobody knew. And I think it was a really big rookie mistake. I think that you can't really trust anybody, and kind of giving out information unnecessarily and superfluously really gets you in trouble in the challenge house and really any reality competition based show in general. If you just give out information unwarranted, it's going to come back and bite you. And I think that Josh is just starting feuds with people that's not needed. He doesn't need to be starting a feud with Swaggy and Bailey. They could be doing this whole big brother like alliance thing, but instead he's going to yell at Swaggy C and Bailey in the bar. It looks like he takes his drink and throws it on Swaggy, which is uncalled for. This is going to be explosive, and Boy Spice says this is how every episode should be. Amen. Yes, I totally 100% believe it. I'm gonna pray and keep my fingers crossed that they will keep this momentum and format through the rest of this season. Hunter Green says the format of the show was everything I needed. That should be the way going forward. It was perfectly balanced with drama, challenge, and complete elimination. A part of me thinks it's due to the lockdowns. I really do believe that the cliffhangers were part of the lockdowns, and I think that they will keep this momentum going. You never know what could happen, but as more people start dwindling from the game, they can't really rely on too much more drama because there's not gonna be a lot of people starting the drama. So if they're gonna really stretch out as more people leave, it's gonna be really, really thin with certain aspects of the show. So I think that they're going to keep the format of having a daily challenge drama, nominations and eliminations throughout the rest of the season, or at least I'm hoping, but I'm completely there with you. This was a perfect balance of everything. It was like drama was just nice, short, sweet, and to the point. The daily challenge felt good at a good length, and the elimination felt really, really well done, and we got to see a nice classic pole wrestle, and it was just really, really fun to watch. And finally, we got Norbert Nagy, who says getting rid of Jordan is a good move, and getting rid of him without making him angry is even better move. End of the day, he said that he would like to go fight for his red skull. On the other hand, to miss out on the chance to put against each other two person of another alliance is a dumb move made by Wes. Wes didn't decide it because it's a smart move. Corey versus Nelson would have been it. He was angry because he got eliminated by Bear last season and let his feelings influence his decision. It's not like Wes. I kind of can see where you're coming from. I think Wes and Bear never really saw eye to eye. They could be on friendly terms, but in the game of the challenge, he never really aligned too much with Bear. So getting rid of Bear or Corey really is kind of thrown up in the air, but we have to also remember that Wes worked with TYB in War of the Worlds, and he could be working with them now. Wes didn't want to close off that door. They never did anything to Wes. If anything, they've done everything to Bananas, and he would rather get out Bear, who he doesn't align with anyways or see eye to eye in this game anyways. Why not throw him in there and get him eliminated or get Nelson eliminated? But I feel that he wanted to keep Nelson and Corey at an even keel in this show and in this game, just in case if Bananas does leave, he has a fallback alliance with them, possibly. But that's it for Tiny Table Talk for this week. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What did you think about the double elimination? What did you think about the daily challenge? What did you think about all the drama? What do you think is gonna happen with Big T later on in this game? If the finals were tomorrow, and the only 6 people that are allowed to run the finals were these 3 people right now in this game, between Jenny, Jenna, and Dee, and Rogan, Fessy, and Nelson, who would you be rooting for in that final? Let me know that in the comment section below. Who are you rooting for to go in next to get their red skull between the women and the men? Let me know that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really, really soon with more challenge content, brief histories, top 10, Mount Rushmores, all that good stuff. Join me on Thursdays for the challenge, Total Madness review and recaps, and join me next week on Friday for another Tiny Table Talk for the challenge, season 35, Total Madness. But until then, peace.